Welcome to OOO, an out of ordinary podcast where we dig deep into case studies and the nitty gritty of Web3 marketing. You'll find here all the amazing people that are building Web3, so stick to us as we address their marketing secrets and learn how to build amazing products and brands. Hello everyone, I'm Alex, your fellow Web3 marketer and the host of an Out of Ordinary podcast. This is episode 45, and I'm super excited to kick this year with a list of amazing speakers. My goal, to make this podcast your go-to place when it comes to answering anything Web3 marketing related. As always, I want to let you know that you can now support the show both on Patreon and Unisub with donations in fiat or crypto. You can donate as little as $5 a month and still have a huge impact. And if you can't donate, that's fine. Send this episode to a friend, leave a 5-star review, or post about it on social media. Every action matters. Okay, done with all of this, let me introduce you to my guest. Filip is the CEO and co-founder of Cookie3, a Google Analytics for Web3 companies with over 200 Web3 marketers onboarded already. With his experience at Deloitte and Millennium and formal education media, as well as quantitative methods, he's able to connect digital marketing, data analytics, and of course, deep knowledge of crypto. Hi, Filip, how are you?
Hi, Alexandra. I'm pretty fine, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I'm super excited to be recording this episode because I know a lot of people are already know you, and some of them already wrote me that they're very excited to hear this episode and see what you have to say and to debate all these things about analytics in Web3 and Web2. So let's get it going.
Yeah, let's go. I'm excited.
Can you tell us a bit about yourself and how you got into Web3?
Yeah, of course. So I got in Web3 back in 2017, as usual from the investment side of stuff. So I was just digging, investing in some coins at the end of the bull run from 2017. And I was not involved in the space from for technology back that time, but actually it changed a bit across the last few years. I was contributing to some communities in meanwhile, and in parallel working in marketing technologies, marketing automation tools, also as an IT consultant in Deloitte Digital. And almost 3 years ago, I switched full-time crypto, as we call it right now, Web3, and started looking for some opportunities in terms of building some value and spotting some gaps within the market. And almost 2 years ago, together with my co-founder, Wojciech Pichociński, who is the CTO of the project, we came up with Cookie3.
Where did the idea come from?
So idea actually came from my mind, but it was validated through some advisors and other projects. So back that time, we knew a bunch of the different crypto-related projects, and we were actually asking them with what they are struggling with, and the problem was actually common in terms of understanding their own user base, because in Web2, it is quite fundamental to track anything and everything via different tools like Google Analytics, Mixpanel, AppsFlyer. We all know that tools. But in Web3, it wasn't so obvious because in Web3, you have those two words of off-chain, traditional data, and on-chain data on the other hand. So that was kind of a struggle, how to bridge those two words in a smooth way. So without putting 3 months of work of your whole data team to actually understand what those folks do off-chain and on-chain. And that was the main ignition of the project to actually answer this need. Then we also were confronting the idea with many entities. It came out that also they are struggling with customer acquisition at all. So we came out with the first advertisement targeting solution for the metaverse with one of our partners. And that was the beginning of the whole journey in Cookie3.
I know you guys already got your first investment, so I want to congratulate you for that. 2.4 million euros is not that little, let's say, and it can go a long way. Can you share maybe a bit about the milestones you have achieved ever since you got this funding round, and what is the current status of Cookie3's private beta?
Yeah, totally. So first of all, it wasn't so tough to raise back that time in like early 2022. And we actually did it from like notable VCs like Spartan Group, Orange DAO, GSR, Big Brain Holdings. And since that time, we achieved pretty few major milestones from the product-wise side of things. Private beta release back in June this year, from which we are right now preparing to switch to the public beta platform early December. So it's a pretty hectic time for our product team and developers to actually make it happen finally. And we are really excited about that. In terms of the business milestones, we achieved also pretty decent metrics because we onboarded right now over 170 business users that are already integrated and using us, our platform, our analytics, and those include one of the biggest DeFi protocols, NFT marketplaces, and also like launchpads, games. So it's a pretty broad range of different projects, but we are mainly like focusing on the B2C Web3 projects to provide them like possibility of understanding their own users and tracking the marketing performance that they are performing.
If I understood correctly, you already have like over 150 businesses in the pipeline. You already mentioned like 170 already. What have you learned since your beta launch, and what can we expect for the public launch?
Yeah, so actually, the main idea of launching the private beta was to collect the feedback. We are not like charging our customers yet, or maybe we are charging them in like their time and the feedback they are providing us, which is the most valuable thing you can do at this stage of the project. And that was the approach here. So we gathered like a ton of different like findings, mistakes, improvements that were suggested and recommended by our business customers within those like almost 5 months from the private beta launch. And we are totally aware in terms of what are their most urgent struggles, what they are looking for, what they are willing to pay, which is also kind of a crucial thing to understand if you are running a business, because ultimately you need to generate some revenue at the end. So this is also quite crucial here. And with the public beta launch, there will be a bunch of new features that are urgently needed in the space, and we are aware of that because of those feedbacks that we already gathered. And those includes like improvements in terms of the data analytics, like attribution tracking, like UTMs, for example, together matched with some on-chain audiences, segmentation, also on-chain analysis itself to actually understand not only what your community is doing, but also what is the benchmark comparison between your community and the community of your like 3 direct competitors, for example, because of the beauty of the blockchain that is transparent, we can actually provide such data. So other features that we are really excited about include also like some more actionable features like targeting ads on X, Twitter, but also targeting on-chain ads like based on on-chain segmentation, the advertisements using some Web3 native protocols like push protocol, like Ethermail, Dmail, and other messaging protocols. So we are right now not only providing insights, but also using those segments and those lookalike profiles to retarget and target the audiences that are most willing to actually use your platform as an advertiser.
I'm actually very happy that you mentioned that, because I think it ties very well with my next question. What kind of businesses can use your product? Like, who is it basically for?
Yeah.
Like, what is the stage? Which niche?
So usually we work with the like early up to middle stage projects, but it like usually it's not like pre-seed, but starting from like around seed or even Series A stage of projects that are either having some user base already or are just willing to onboard different clients and are preparing some marketing campaign, and they are spending some money on marketing because this is where we can provide the most value to actually optimize those spendings. So if you are like willing to pay like some amount of money on your monthly budget on your marketing activities, we can optimize that and raise the conversion rate together with lowering down the customer acquisition cost, which is kind of like one of the two most important metrics in like and a Web2 and a B2C project, as well as like customer lifetime value. So like mainly B2C Web3 projects that are actively doing some marketing operations and activities within the space, as well as bigger clients, bigger platforms that are already having user base and would like to understand them better, to actually engage them better, to raise the stickiness and the retention, because like onboarding is one thing that you should critically think about, but another is actually to actually and get these people engaged within your platform and stay much long as possible as your customers, which is kind of a struggle right now in Web3 space, as we know, with like different approaches like airdrops, quests. The retention is really, really low still, and we are also exploring how we could and how we can actually help our business clients to increase that.
Something else you mentioned to me was regarding like merging on-chain and off-chain data. How does Cookie3's approaches this integration, and what advantages does it offer for businesses operating in the Web3 space?
Yeah, really great question. So basically, you can think of us as some kind of a Google Analytics alternative for Web3. So probably most of our listeners knows and did take a try to Google Analytics. So you can think of us that we provide everything what Google Analytics does, but the difference here is that we are also providing on-chain data on top of that. So it's all bridged together. And with the really privacy-centric approach, because we are cookieless, we are not tracking any personal data or IP addresses. So it's totally like compliant from the GDPR side of things, for example. But on the other hand, you have much bigger enrichment in terms of the full awareness of what's going on within your community because of this additional layer of on-chain data, which is quite crucial here to understand if you are Web3 project. So this is like the short, simple answer to your question in terms of how we are dealing with those different data and how we are merging them. This is like pretty also simple to explain. You can think of it as a segmentation groups. So, for example, you can see who is coming from different traffic sources. So what is the quality of the wallets that are coming from the Twitter campaign that you just paid $10,000 for, or from the KOL you are cooperating with for the last like 2 weeks, and you can like actually compare those qualities, and you can see how many of those folks not only get into your website platform and visited it, but also what was the bounce rate, how many of them connected the wallet, what was the quality of the wallets, what were their balances, liquidity, spendings, for what they usually spend money on recently, if they are active, if not, on what chains they are active. But also you can define specific conversion events as well, like the same as in Web2. But in Web2, those conversion events are happening still off-chain, so like some purchase, newsletter sign up, account registration, and you can also actually track all of those via Cookie3. But except that, you can also define on-chain events conversions. So you can specify that we'd like to we are like just dropping some NFT collection, and we'd like to track how many mints came from the specific traffic source of the attribution, how many of those folks actually provided the liquidity, and whether the KOL that you are cooperating with and onboarded you 10,000 people, but only half of them connected the wallet, but they did nothing, comparing to the another one that you paid like much less, but he onboarded a relatively bigger quality audience that actually interacted with your smart contract and did some conversion events. And this is how you finally see what's working for you and what's not, and you can finally optimize that in your marketing spending. So we are kind of a unique solution that is provide you like the look of the space that was actually kind of blind previously, and this is the approach here.
I actually had a question. Oh yeah, I think it was regarding the need for UTMs, because I think like that's kind of how everything falls into place when it comes to tracking and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, it is one of the options, but it's not like mandatory, because if you won't set up any UTMs, we will like provide you insights about the traffic sources anyway. But the UTMs are the main utility of the UTMs is to actually do it in even more granularly. So if you are having some like 10 KOLs on the Twitter and all they post the same redirect link to your platform, you will only see the like Twitter source as a source. But if you provide them UTM links, you can like split it out between different KOLs and see what was the real outcome of every and each.
Something that I tend to talk with a lot of people about is regarding the education of Web3 marketers in the space. Those that already exist in the space, those that want to make the transition. How do you guys, because I'm guessing it's very important for people to understand the kind of data you provide or the kind of information you provide so that they would know how to read that. How do you guys play a role in educating these marketers to understand and basically leverage Web3 data effectively?
Yeah, this is really crucial, actually, because what we find out across those all interactions with our clients and generally with Web3 marketers, there are a lot of people that actually are not having a huge experience from Web2, and they are not not used to use such comprehensive tools for like understanding the audience, attribution analysis. So this is one group. And on the other hand, we have like those marketing OGs, let's say, that are coming from Web2 and are just like starting educating them about how to do marketing in Web3 and how to actually measure it, how to understand it, and so on and so on. So we have like those two main groups, I would say, that we should focus on in terms of like education and so on, and different materials and different stuff should be provided to those two different groups. In terms of what we are right now focusing on is the like upcoming launch of the public beta, within which we will be provide massive amounts of like educational stuff as well. So like some tutorials, use cases, case studies, how to do this in like Web3 marketing, how to like understand your audience, how to optimize your marketing campaign that you are right now conducting with the KOLs, how to run effectively advertisement campaigns in Web3. So those are the things that are not known because no one did actually measure them. As we have this like pretty complex tool for providing those data and insights together with our partners and customers, we are actually structuring and creating those case studies and tutorials for the use cases, how to do it properly. So this is exactly the thing that we are focusing on right now around this public beta launch.
Honestly, I think like one of the reasons why this is happening is because I think Web2 in incorporated a lot more diversified group of marketers, let's say. Whereas I think like Web3 kind of almost automatically pushes you to become a growth marketer. And I think for a lot of people, it's actually complicated because for people like me, for example, that have never liked numbers, I mean, like I know how to read numbers, but it's not exactly something I want to do all day. Getting into Web3 or like trying to use this kind of tools, it's a bit of a headache sometimes, and I need to like make sure that I wrap my head around it or like I understand things properly before I say that I want to use a tool or that I want to launch a campaign or that I want to work with a certain type of client. So I think this is my take, and I don't know. I've been struggling to really understand like what's up with the space, especially when it comes to marketers.
Yeah, I totally agree. And also, this was the like main reason why we approached the structuring and creating this whole user experience designs that way in the platform. So there is like no coding, no querying. You don't have to be a tech person to actually use it. Everything is automated. So once you integrate the analytics plugin within your website or platform, which takes also like just few minutes, you can easily see what is the outcome, just like seamlessly. What we are also trying to achieve in the nearest future is to provide even more like combined recommendations and insights, like conclusions. So you ultimately won't be needing to actually take a look on the chart, because you will see the whole summary provided by ML and AI solutions to actually see, okay, I should just like optimize this marketing campaign that I'm just like conducting, uh, and I should do these three actions to optimize it, and that's it. Because this is the like main value at the end, that you will know how to optimize your marketing spendings. And there are a few ways of actually achieving this like insights and outcomes, how to do it, but we can also automate it through the AI in the future.
Now that let's do a bit of education, let's say, if you allow me. And I think like I have like two questions for you. One is regarding what type of data do you think is the most important for marketers to look at?
In terms of the data, I would say it is like customer acquisition cost and customer lifetime value. Those are like the, without any doubt, two most important metrics in any web, like in a B2C business. Either it is like Web 2, Web 1, Web 0, or Web 3. So actually, like if you are aware how much it costs you to acquire one customer, and then how much you are generating revenue from per each customer, this is the like pretty fundamental stuff you should know first of all. Right now, it's not known in Web3 without using such tools like Cookie3. So it is kind of a mind blowing how we are even like operating in this like huge space that is like on the hype and thriving without like actually measuring two most important metrics for any business. So I would say those are the two ones, and we are providing the possibility of measuring both of two.
Another question I had was regarding like users from Web3, and here I wanted to say to ask like if what is the way to like get to know them better, maybe. But I think you already mentioned a couple of things, but I wanted to see if there's anything else that should be added here.
Yeah, totally. We can like I can answer those questions for the next like 2 hours, because like it's unlimited space in terms of like data points, literally. So just to give you the view of what I did, like other data points that I didn't mention yet, those include on-chain insights, like what kind of dApps your users are using. So you could, for example, tailor and adjust your content within the Discord group or Twitter post to engage them more. You can think of a partnership with the like top 3 dApps they are using mostly and are popular, or are just like increasing the popularity, because you see using Cookie3 actually how it is changing across the time. So if they are just like start losing some, if any of the dApps are start losing some traction, and other ones are getting more and more popular within your community, as well as you can see what are the like different tokens they are holding, buying and selling, as well as NFTs, which is kind of a crucial thing to understand. Okay, my community is really active and the activity is increasing in terms of NFT that they are minting in the past like 2 weeks. And this is kind of a like crucial information if you are planning to provide some like NFT drop. Because without activities across around like NFTs, it wouldn't make sense to actually to actually launch the NFT collection, because you wouldn't sell it. So those are the metrics we are providing automatically. And the like pretty cool thing is that all those metrics, on-chain metrics, you can check about the any community of your competitors, of your partners. You can compare it. So this is pretty powerful to understand. What is also powerful in terms of the blockchain data is that once you got information that, okay, this wallet is my user, you can not only check what this user is doing within your platform, but also outside of it, but also not currently, but you can like do some retrospect historical analysis, what he or she was doing in the last 6 months and how it was changing. So if the holdings of like activity of your community is growing or decreasing, and you can spot all those like trend shifts that are happening, but you are not aware without actually taking a look at that. So those are some of the really cool things you are able to check out just by like typing the name of the token or dApp or NFT collection or of yours or your competitor to actually check what's going on within their communities.
Something else you mentioned was regarding analytics, but not only analytics, but like the integration of AI to basically create these reports for anybody to be able to understand them easier. I wanted to ask, like, if there's any other usage of AI when it comes to like what you're building at Cookie3.
Yeah, totally. That is also kind of another big topic. So right now, pretty the simplest and easiest implementation is to actually just like get some like GPT API and include it to provide some like table of the data points, and it will provide you some output of the recommendations, suggestions, and what we should do. But this is only like not proprietary solution, and it's quite repeatable by other like entities if you are dealing with like on-chain data that are transparent. But if you are a platform, you are also tracking the off-chain data. So it wouldn't make sense to only base on the on-chain data if you can like actually train some models basing on the off-chain and on-chain data. And this is for what we are right now starting providing ML and AI solutions for our business clients, so they could actually understand not only better their audience, but also by using machine learning and AI models, they can be provided with automated segmentation. So to see what kind of different segments of the users you are right now onboarding and having within your community user base look alike, to actually see and have opportunity to reach out to the similar guys that are most probably willing to also use your platform because they are really similar to your current clients, as well as benchmarking analysis, which is also provided in like Web2 space pretty easily via machine learning and AI stuff. And also one thing that I'm actually most excited about is correlation patterns between different wallets and their operations on different chains and between each other. Because if you are having, like, let's say you are a token, or let's say you are DEX, and you are having like 100,000 users, active users monthly, but those users, every and each of them has for sure more than one wallet. So what with like those, let's say, 3 other wallets of every of your customers that you are not analyzing at all, because you are only analyzing this like first layer of the wallets that is directly using your DApp. And we want to provide you like information that those 3 wallets are owned by the same person, because it's like impossible to do. But we can provide you insights about the group of like 300,000 wallets that are strictly correlated and are regularly transacting within each other with those wallets. So either they are the same person's wallets, or are their friends, or are really like correlated within each other. So you can take a look on your direct community and non-direct community, which is kind of a additional source of truth about your community.
One of the things that I'm most excited about when it comes to this episode is asking my speakers about to share some successful stories from or with what they're building. So I wanted to ask if you can share some success stories or examples of campaigns that have effectively used Cookie3 to enhance their strategies in the Web3 space, and how would that work? What can you tell us?
Yeah, of course. I'm always excited about like the real case studies, because these are those like proofs of value actually that we provided. So we are really proud of them, and we are looking for more and more to publish around public beta launch. In terms of the ones that are already published and I can speak about, those include some DeFi platforms like Notum or Flus, which actually were managed to lower down the customer acquisition cost by over 60% using our analytics tracking tool, as well as they saved, as I remember, Notum saved over 30 hours monthly on some data analysis, because before they were using Cookie3, they were actually, as any of other project, they had to actually do it by themselves. So to take like Google Analytics, to take Dune Analytics, try to somehow merge those data in a like different outcomes. So that was the time they were actually spending on doing so every month. And by integrating after integrating Cookie3, it dropped by like 30 hours monthly, which is quite of a significant save of cost if you could take into account that you are having some like data scientists directly doing this stuff. And another thing which is like crucial, as I mentioned, was like decreasing the customer acquisition cost. So right now we have those 2 case studies published that I encourage everyone to take a look at. They are pretty well written and deeply described what they did and how they managed to actually drop those customer acquisition metrics. But like just in one sentence, they were able to finally see what is the outcome of different marketing activities, including messaging protocols, advertisements, organic posts, and KOLs corporations, to put and actually put the funds of their marketing budget to the best performing ones to save some money.
I feel like I'm kind of going back to one of my questions before, like where do you see the most potential of growth, or like on which part of Web3 or like which niche of Web3 do you see the most potential of growth? Because I'm also guessing it's kind of correlated to the kind of companies that you were mentioning that you prefer to work with.
Yeah. So, frankly speaking, I think that like it's quite not a unique tag, but I think GameFi and DeFi will be the hugest trends in the upcoming bull market. Like GameFi might be really huge. DeFi itself might be somehow integrated with gaming, so it will be maybe even like one thing in the future. But my take on that is that whenever we see that any trend is attracting some decent amount of users, this is where we should take a closer look at and actually provide as much value as possible to those sectors. Um, Probably SocialFi is the last one that I would point out here, and is pretty hyped recently because of some like platforms that were launched. So I think like it's pretty exciting to see what different projects will be coming up in the coming months, because it all depends on the probably um, good user experience, as we know from like Uniswap, for example, that started the whole DeFi summer back in 2020 because of their really simple user experience. And this is the missing point, I guess, in like GameFi and SocialFi right now. But once we achieve that, we may expect massive flows of new users to Web3.
Something else that I know you're like very involved in is your personal brand, or like you're pretty active online. Do you think this has impacted the way Cookie3 was able to grow, or like your user acquisition over time, let's say?
Yeah, I would definitely say that yes. Like one of the main reasons is that it's like when you are creating content as an individual, it's much more trustworthy than if you are creating content as a company, because connotation with the company is that company wants to always sell something. But if you are an individual,
And
sorry.
sorry to have interrupted. I was saying that like some people in Web3 still want to be anon.
Yeah, but like you can be still anon and be a good like key opinion leader actually, and we know a bunch of them from like crypto Twitter. So yeah, definitely, even being anon might be the better approach than putting all of the efforts to creating the content and spreading the word from your like company's accounts, because like it's not so well approached in terms of the perception of the uh, customers, potential customers, and generally audience.
I feel like right now we're kind of going back towards the end of this episode. We're kind of going back to the educational side of things, and something I'm asking all my speakers is to give me an example of a tool that you're using, anything that's really cool, or some resources when it comes to like learning more about Web3 for marketers, for founders, for whoever you want. So like I'm really curious what you're gonna tell us here.
Yeah, so we'll use in Cookie3 bunch of them, like starting from some obvious ones like ChatGPT on a daily basis, like Grammarly, Typeform, Pipedrive. But one of the things that are uh, used by us and are not so common in the other teams is like WAP Analyzer. It is like Chrome extension to actually see what kind of plugins are being used by the specific website that you are visiting. And this is the thing that we always do before we talk with anyone, with like potential clients. We just are checking whether they are like using Google Analytics already, Google Tag Manager, or any other like Mixpanel, or any other Web3 marketing tool, which gives us some kind of a view of with whom we are dealing with, if they're already like using some alternative tools in Web 2. And this always helps us to actually get this first connection easier.
Do you track if they're using anything else in Web3 as well?
It's kind of not so obvious to track it because like we can check what is visible in like the JavaScript code on the front end page of the website, but we are particularly interested in like analytics plugins. So this is for what we like use it.
Mm-hmm. Filip, where can people find you?
Yeah, on like in Web3 and Web2 as well. Actually, yeah, the honest truth is actually in Web2, guys. So like on LinkedIn, on Twitter, like X right now, on Telegram. Like I have the same nickname on Telegram as on Twitter, so feel free to reach out to me on DM.
Do you use Lens?
Actually, I don't use Lens. Frankly speaking, I'm not so involved in like current like SocialFi and like other recently launched platforms because of the lack of time right now. I have this like Lens handle, but I'm not using Lens protocol at all, actually.
Fair. I totally get you. Well, thank you so much for this chat. I really enjoyed speaking to you. I feel like I hope that we've managed to share a bit of light for all the marketers out there and all the founders needing some analytics help, let's say, to understand their data better. And looking forward to speaking to you soon, probably maybe after you've you already launched to everybody else, and maybe like discuss a bit more case studies of people or companies using Cookie3.
That would be really, really great. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate that. And excited for the next episodes and like upcoming public beta launch of Cookie3.
For sure. Best of luck and chat soon.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to our Out of Ordinary podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you would like to hear more content like this, then open up the podcast app and click on the follow or subscribe button. It takes less than 5 seconds and is the single best thing you can do to support the show and stay up to date to more marketing strategies that are being used in the Web3 space.